So we have a progress update on Remy's Ratatouille adventure, which is being built just to the back of the France Pavilion here at Epcot. So let's dive into all of that up next. Hi there Waltoneers, I'm Jack and this is of course DSNY Newscast from Epcot, and you know what, considering that, let's just dive straight into it. As we've been tracking the progress on this new expansion to the back of the France Pavilion for quite a while. From the early rumours to the initial permit filings, and then the construction of the show building last year. But now the attention has finally turned toward the actual physical changes that we can see start to take shape outside, which will transform this entire area into a beautiful Parisian cul-de-sac that we can see in this concept art here. And currently, it seems as if Disney might have prioritised the exterior work on this project over the interior, as with the Disney Skyliner set to officially take to the skies and open in fall of this year, which might coincide with the opening of Star Wars Galaxy's Edge on August 29th, but still a safer bet would be early September, then Disney need to at least have the exterior in more of a presentable shape than that of the active construction site as of right now. And that's exactly what Imagineering are working on, as we can see here with the outline theming of the Haussmann-style apartment building steelwork, which is now beginning to receive a fiberglass sheathing as the basis for the artistic direction that will be applied by Imagineering, which of course will match much of the rest of the pavilion, as what we're looking at here will be the attraction's main entrance under the canopy and signage, which will clearly say Remy's Ratatouille Adventure like it does over in Disneyland Paris. But unlike the Paris version, which has some of the overflow queue space to the side of the attraction show building, in Walt Disney World guests will enter and then loop back out into this space here that we can clearly see in the permit filings, as they are beginning to lay the foundation work down for this section of the queue for Remy's Ratatouille Adventure. And if you're wondering why this seems like such an unusual layout, it's because of the positioning of these existing electrical substations that would require some major infrastructure work to be moved. So instead, Disney are deciding to build around them in their current location. And this isn't such a bad thing, as the queue within Disneyland Paris' version has been designed to have a purposely disorientating layout to replicate the perspective of Remy navigating his way around the complex rooftops of Paris. But thanks to these incredibly insightful images by BioReconstruct, we know that there's still quite a bit of work that needs to be completed on the courtyard area, like the lower level theming to the backside of the pavilion, the fountain, and also the foundation work on the new creperie restaurant that is opposite the entrance to the Ratatouille attraction, or as we can see here, with the walkway that leads into the new courtyard, which has been widened with these new embankments. But with this being the only entrance and exit to this new area, I really feel as if Disney could have benefited from creating an exit pathway out of the attraction back into the main France Pavilion, to cut down on any of the potential congestion for the main walkway into this Parisian cul-de-sac. Although the promising thing here is that with the installation of the show components beginning very soon, as we can see in this permit filing, it means that Imagineering will turn their attention toward internal theming like we see within the pantry scene with the oversized physical set pieces, and thus the attraction is still on target to open in the first half of next year, with the rumoured opening date still being around late spring or roughly May of 2020. And the last thing to mention about the attraction itself is that over in Disneyland Paris, they've recently been running the attraction temporarily in 2D instead of its usual 3D experience, which personally I would much rather see it implemented in 2D in Walt Disney World, as the combination of trackless vehicles spinning around with 3D projections does make for a slightly blurry viewing experience. So it's good to know that Disney can always revert the attraction to 2D if they ever decide to later on. But when it finally opens next year, it will be a 4D visual and sensory extravaganza. But before we get into any more news for today, I just want to say a quick thanks to Mickey Travels for sponsoring today's episode, as Mickey Travels are only one of a select few travel agencies in the entire world that have Disney's Platinum Earmark status. So if you're looking to book a Disney vacation, Mickey Travels will handle all aspects of your trip and do it all for free, as they never charge for their services. So to get your free quote today, visit mickeytravels.com in the description box or call them on the number below. And considering that we've been talking all about Ratatouille today, let's keep this Pixar theme going. as late last week we received our first look at Pixar's Onward. And it will mark a shift within the studio away from their stable of extremely profitable sequels over to completely original stories once again, like we've seen recently with Coco and Inside Out. Now, my first impression of Onward is that it has a lot of promise, although it does feel a little bit like Zootopia, but for mythical creatures instead. But what I personally like about this new teaser trailer is just how ambitious it is in terms of world building, which is something that Pixar have always been incredible at doing, with the likes of Inside Out, Coco and Monsters Inc. And although we don't know much beyond the official synopsis that it takes place within a suburban fantasy world where two teenage elf brothers embark on an extraordinary quest to discover if there is still magic left in the world, this teaser trailer hardly gives any more away, which is something that separates Pixar from all of the other movie studios within Hollywood. As within every other teaser trailer within the industry, too often you receive too much information of a plot within the teaser. Although with a stacked cast of Tom Holland, Chris Pratt, Julia Louis-Dreyfus and Octavia Spencer, Onward also has the star power to propel this first movie in a long line of original stories from Pixar, as this direction change is due to the new creative leadership of Pete Docter, who directed Up, Inside Out and Monsters Inc. And so this sure looks to be a very strong step in the right direction after Pixar releases the fourth sequel to the film that started it all, Toy Story, on June 21st, 2019. And speaking of which, Disney have also debuted the first Bo Peep meet and greet character for nearly 2 decades at Disney parks, with Bo Peep meeting alongside Woody in Toy Story Land. And now personally, my only hope is to see a Buzz and Jessie meet and greet as well, as those characters would make the most sense being together. And lastly for today, we have even more Disney Parks news as well, as Disney Parks blog have announced that a brand new fireworks show is coming to Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party, with it to be hosted by Minnie Mouse and appropriately called Minnie's Wonderful Christmas Time, which will include a new Christmas medley of holiday favourites. However, in late April, Disney also revealed that there will be an all-new, yet-to-be-named fireworks spectacular coming to Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party that will utilise the state-of-the-art projection mapping techniques along with the lasers, lights and fireworks that can be found within Happily Ever After. But what's still not clear at this time is whether this Minnie's Wonderful Christmas Time will feature the advanced projection mapping similar to that of Halloween, as it seems as if this will be more of just a new fireworks spectacular. But either way, it's still great to hear that Disney are adding new exclusive entertainment for these ticketed events. And the last little nugget of Disney Park news is this very quick look, thanks to BioReconstruct, of the current state of removal of the Lever Legacy monoliths at the front of Epcot. As we can see that Disney are removing one side, landscaping, and then moving on over to the other side later on, with the anticipated completion date for this renovation being in late 2019, if not early 2020. But now, it's over to you, Walt, and as I would like to know, with Pixar's Onward coming out next March, if Disney were to build a ride or a land based on this new Pixar movie, if it does very well at the box office, then whereabouts in any one of the Disney parks do you think is the most logical positioning or placement for a ride or a land on this movie? And also, what type of attraction would it be? And don't forget to put the timestamp for where the hidden Mickey appeared somewhere within this video, along with your suggestion or your comment, to be in with a chance to win one of these official DSNY Newscast enamel pins. And congratulations to this Walt here for winning this suggestion from a previous video where we were talking all about the opening of Star Wars Galaxy's Edge at Disneyland. And so that's it for today. So go ahead and subscribe down below if you're new to this channel. Hit that notification icon so therefore you always receive an update whenever these videos come out on a Tuesday and a Thursday. And also, if you've enjoyed today's video from Epcot and the France Pavilion on Ratatouille, then give this video a massive thumbs up, as it really does help this channel out. And I've been Jack, you've been you, and I'll see you real soon.